Great, start your day with a coach. I am your host, certified high performance coach Sean Butner. And today we're talking about, is the anxious brain getting in the way? So if you've ever, right before bed, had your brain start to go a million miles a minute on things you needed to do with work, things you needed to do for the family or the kids, things that you needed to or social interactions from grade school that you remembered where you really embarrassed yourself, or wherever the anxiety takes you. If you've ever experienced that, then this video is going to be great for explaining a couple of different ways to address it. And it's important because, we need to understand when anxiety is worth feeling anxious about, or when situations are worth our worry. Because, if you're on a mountain by yourself and you see a growling, mountain lion, that's a good time to start to worry. But when Franken Accounting says that, hey, that project proposal you did, the numbers don't add up, and so maybe we can't do the project, we can have that same fight or flight type of response in a social context when we feel embarrassed or we feel like we've been snubbed or one-upped. But, it's really important to understand, though, that there are times when you are in danger, when, your body's activating to really do what it needs to do to fight or run away or play dead, I guess, that whole thing. So when we have instances when there are things that are causing us to feel anxious and causing us to be distracted or, not focus on what's in front of us because we have this, base level of worry in our heads, it's really, really important to think about, okay, how can we redirect this? How can we release this? Or how can we reframe it, right? That's the 3-point process, and I'll give you a couple examples and habits to do in each of them. When, it's okay, maybe I feel a little embarrassed. Is it worth being embarrassed? Is it worth the worry and all that stuff based on that? So first point, to release, right? So if you have something that keeps coming up that makes you anxious, right? One of the techniques I really like to do is, if it's a social interaction that keeps happening, so maybe you have social anxiety, like I have had for a lot of my life, imagine that situation happening in your head, and imagine putting it on a picture, right? And so you see it on the picture, and it could be moving or not. And then, so you can picture that picture in your hand, you crumple it up, and you throw it away. There's the streets around my house are littered with these types of things where I'll be walking because I'm anxious, and I'll get to that in a little bit, about something, I'll imagine it, and I'll leave it on the street, The second thing, David Allen, who was famous for doing a book called Get Things Done, which was really popular in time management and productivity, had an exercise where if you're worried about all the things you got to get done at work or work and home, all the things that you need to do, taking a blank sheet of paper and writing down everything in your head and getting it on a piece of paper can help alleviate that, hey, you forgot something, hey, you don't have it in the right order, so you know that you need to pick up the kids at 6, and it's, 5:55, and you're still at work, and it takes you 20 minutes to get there. Prevents you from getting into that situation, because people worry about that. So you can do that with all your tasks, and you can also do that with everything that you're worried or feeling. So if you're, worried about global warming, how it's going to impact you in the next year, get it out, write it out. And there's this exercise too, when you write it and you look at it, your brain will process it differently, and you can actually say, oh, maybe I don't need to worry about that, or yeah, I do, but this is what I can do about it right now. So it's a really powerful exercise for just releasing things that are making you anxious. The next thing is to redirect. So you go for a long walk outside, you do something strenuous if you can, get the heart pumping, and you just use the stress and anxiety and, use that as fuel to lift or run or hike or walk or whatever is appropriate for your level of physicality. But it's, for me, like when I was starting out in my career, I had a lot of financial anxiety, I had a lot of, like, I felt like an imposter. And so training for a marathon was my solution, which is kind of nuts. And so it was pretty intense. But, the miles and miles of running really helped me reduce my stress and anxiety so I could think about things critically and say, oh, here's how I could adjust. And that's how I was able to plan my way out of some of the student loan stuff that I had, and over like 6 years, I paid off over like $80,000 in student debt. So just pretty crazy to say out loud again, but that is what it is. Also, you can redirect by creating things, right? So write a song, create a painting, go to the wood shop or makerspace and create a table, or, doing something with your hands, doing something that occupies and can focus you and isn't maybe related to work can really help you redirect some of that energy so that afterwards you're like, I'm accomplished, I did something, and it kind of wore me out. So that's kind of the theme for that. The final bit is to reframe. So this one can be a little bit tricky, but you can take a worry, you write it out, right? Could be something like, I hate my job right now and I can't believe I'm here, and on and on and on. Or it could be like, somebody that I love is out in the world and I'm worried about them, right? I'm sure parents have this feeling a lot. And so how do you manage that worry, right? And the idea is to reframe. And so, like in the job example, for me, like I actually had this happen where I was stressing myself out, just reminding myself how I didn't really love my job at that particular time. And that was the reframe. Instead of I hate my job, which was going on in my head over and over and over again, it's like I don't love my job right now. And it was time-bound, and it was something that allowed me to say, okay, if I don't love my job now, how can I shift it into something I love? So that redirect was really awesome. Hey, Inger Shea, how's it going? See you on the old Instagram there. So, if you're worried about a loved one out in the world, you could say, like, I really love this person, and they've come home okay every time so far. So maybe my worry isn't as justified. So super, super important. So when we have an anxious brain, we need to release, redirect, or reframe using one of these habits or any of the habits that you have so that we can live with less stress and anxiety. So if you guys have any particular tactics or strategies, comment below the video right now on what you do to manage anxiety or manage stress to calm you down and either release, redirect, or reframe. Or if there's anything I missed, I'd love to hear that too. And as always, if you'd like a little bit of one-on-one time with a certified high-performance coach, you can go to seanbutler.com/coaching to learn how you can work on stuff like this. Sometimes you just need to talk through this stuff with some folks. So, all right, guys, that said, hope you liked Start Your Day Great, Start Your Day with a Coach. Go out there, live with more joy, more personal growth, and more impact in your communities. And I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Take care, guys. Have a good day.